Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that Kuro Games is paving the way for version 2.7 with a bit of a bang. Get it? Because Galbrada has a... Anyways, so, the situation that has unfolded before us is Kuro Games has put out a new video, actually teasing the version 2.7 livestream. It's a Rena narrative recap. Embrace the finale. And I've heard a couple of great things about this one. First and foremost, there are some new scenes. There are some sneak peeks, some previews of the story ahead. And I'm just gonna be honest. My most anticipated character in the history of Wuthering Waves, Chu-Yan, is coming in this version. And I'm just gonna be honest. I hope they do him justice over here. So without further ado, let's go see what's going on. We got 1 minute and 46 seconds ahead of us. We'll try to do as much analysis as possible just so that you and I can get as much possible out of this trailer. And we'll just get right on into it. The civilization of 1,000 islands, begotten by their divine voice. I need to go ahead. I need to actually see proof of this. The claim over here is that Rena is a region filled with fucking islands. I mean, there are a couple. Nah, that's misinfo. I mean, technically, that's an interesting term to use, 1,000 islands, but you know what? I can kind of see what's going on over here. But that whole, that whole shtick about begotten by their divine voice, clearly, right, that's the voice of the Thenodian. Overall, kind of poetic, but I do like it. Across the sea you sail, prompted by an invitation letter. Yep, call back to version 2.0.
Why abandon thy oath?
Join us. Pour your essence into this endless play.
That the dark tide would never recede.
The Thenodian is using you! You are the harbinger of the dark tide!
I like what they're doing to set us up, right? These are basically all of the different sort of like climactic moments from pretty much all the stories that we've had in the previous versions of the game. I think the only one that they're missing over here right now is like Augusta, so I hope they do show her. Like we even got Yuno over here.
High tide is upon us.
Oh, well, there we go.
Strength.
I don't know if there's going to be some sort of significance or like some sort of meaning behind Kartithia and Frolova showing up first, and then we have Yuno and Augusta towards the end. It could naturally just be based off of like release order or something like that, but I am hoping that there is a lot of closure. I hope there is a lot of closure coming up in version 2.7 for the whole Septimont story, because it does seem like we're done. It does seem like the phase is over. However, one thing that is clear is that
the high tide is upon us.
I think this means something. The fact that Augusta's voice is playing, we don't really see a scene of Augusta at all, and all we see is the false sovereign while Augusta's voice is playing. So, as we all know, she was supposed to get swallowed up by this guy. Maybe something actually, like, does occur, because I do find it a little bit fishy that they showed literally everybody. They even show Fenrico. They show Fenrico, but not Augusta.
Use your humble strength to defy the raging current of fate.
Oh, there we go.
Doth wander briefly amongst thy kind.
The formidable power once wielded to guard Septimont is now tainted by the dark tide.
Oh, dear Sentinel, please forgive my transgressions.
When you think about the amount of progress that we've made in 9 months, I'm going to be honest. A lot has happened in the Wuthering Waves story. I think a lot of people are very used to like the narrative storytelling style of Genshin Impact, where you basically have 3 patches. Right? You get 3 patches in the game where there's actually story going on. You know, it's like, or maybe it's 4, right? I'm thinking it's like X.0, X.1, X.2, X.3. And then after that, Hoyoverse typically just does filler patches. That's the Genshin release cycle. That's the one that most people are going to compare to Wuthering Waves. 4 story patches, and then they go filler for the rest of the region. Wuwa has just been adding on to the main story for like the entirety of like 2.x. And I'm going to be real over here. I really like it. It doesn't feel like there's like this same level of lull. The same level of just like, okay, I don't really like care what's in the patch. I know it's going to be filler. It's like all we really have are like the events. Maybe Dainsleif is going to show up. You kind of like get a filler patch, or you get a main story, a filler patch, and then a main story in Wuwa. And I'm just going to be real over here. That structure feels great. That structure feels amazing. 2.3 was the only filler patch? No. 1,000,000%. I could say that 2.1 is without a doubt a filler patch. All you did was go catch fish with Phoebe. And then you did a, well, Montelli vault thing. But I'm going to be real here. You could also not do that and the story's not really impacted. So, yeah, 2.1, 2.3, they were filler patches. 1,000,000%. Kachona's story was not a filler patch. Unfortunately, this is also the thing. If you don't do Chacona's story, the overall, your understanding of like the overall main story also isn't really impacted. Chacona's story is more so like closure on Renacida, and this is the thing. There's a reason why they don't show her in here. Right? If she was truly, if her quest was truly that relevant and it was a main story, she would be here. But guys, she's not. You see over here, we went right from 2.2 to 2.4 to 2.5. And there's no Chacona, there's no main story over there. Hopefully that settles the debate, ladies and gentlemen.
Trapped in your own pathetic shell, and you still think you're the king of the world.
Was that Avidious? I'm sorry.
Forgive my transgressions. Trapped in your own pathetic shell, and you still think you're the king of the world.
Was that Avidious or Cristoforo? Because I'm going to be real, they kind of sound the same to me. Maybe they're intended to sound the same. Like every person that Cristoforo makes, that's Avidious talking to himself. They almost sound the same. That's the thing. I really like Avidious as a character. You know, like the blonde guy who's like supposed to be like the hero of heroes who was manufactured by Cristoforo. He's also somebody that got absolutely no closure at all from the second half of version 2.6. Bro's kind of just like stuck in like the Tetragon Moon dungeon, hanging out with Granny Lilibeth. You know, now that I think about it, that is kind of weird. Like, he's like this, why is he just hanging out with Granny for like, that's where he is. He's just hanging out with Granny right now. So I really hope that's not where he stays in the story. I would love to see him, I don't know, like turn into a real person or something. Like, Avidious is kind of like an example of a character that is done so well and has like so much like plot significance, and I think he deserves to be a playable unit. We clearly saw that he has like spectral powers. He does like all of that sort of stuff. He has like that yellow glow in the middle of the 2.6 quest. He has had so much story significance. It sounds like he even has a voice in this trailer. They're deciding to advertise him instead of Augusta. Literally, when this part of the story is centered around Augusta, they're deciding to advertise him with his voice. Maybe it's just a bait by Kuro Games. Maybe it's them just having a little bit of fun. Maybe it's them doing a little bit of teasing. But I'm going to be real here. If there's not something done with him, I feel like I'm going to be very disappointed. Because I'm going to be real. They fucking cooked. They cooked. Make him the 4-star Spectral Frazzle applier. And this is also another crazy take. Would anyone be that upset if they, let's just say they terminated Bu Ling? Let's just say they terminated Bu Ling. She's not playable. And they put in Avidious instead. Would anyone be mad? Would you guys trade Bu Ling for Avidious? I'd trade Bu Ling for Avidious. Fuck Bu Ling.
You still think you're the king of the world before the tides of fate. We are all but... Nah.
That one was Cristoforo. And I think this is the new stuff.
Fate. We are all but...
That's Nestor or Cristoforo? No, so the previous one was Avidious. No, this one... No, that previous one was Avidious. Now, this one is Cristoforo for sure.
Tides of fate. We are all but humble servants.
We got a little shot of Galbrada doing something. I guess she's flying through a portal. We can clearly see she got the wings. I'm excited to see you, Angel, next patch.
Humble.
We go back, Scar.
We are all but
He's playing Minecraft. So, I guess we're gonna see Scar's second form again. And we all know he's got like that TD transformation, but he has not done it in the 2.0 storyline yet. He only did it in version 1.0 of the game, but it does look like he's getting his ass beat. It looks like he's getting fucking beat up. Maybe this is where the theory that like Scar is dead, Scar's gonna die. Maybe that's where it comes from over here, because I'm not gonna lie, he's getting kind of cooked. Yeah, he got bodied over here.
Humble servants.
But
Why are we rewinding? Oh no. Why are we rewinding? Wait. How insane would it be if something catastrophic happens for the 2.0 finale and Rover has to restart again? Because you know how a lot of animes, you know how a lot of like mangas, they have that sequence where like the main character rewinds, goes back in time like 10 years ago before the main conflict occurred. And then they're like told, oh, okay, you know, you can just live a very like relaxed life. You know, you don't have to like worry about it. I think of like Invincible, right? From like American media. There's like a scene in the comics where he literally goes back before he got his powers. And stuff like that, and then just lives a more chill life, but then realizes, no, I have a responsibility over here. I need to go back to, like, the modern day. I need to, like, go back and actually, like, fix this. I don't know, man. Maybe there's somebody with, like, time control or something going on over here, or I'm just reading into this too much. But why would they do this?
But I prefer to handle this my way.
I prefer to handle this my way. The voice line from Rover. That kind of just tells me that, like, something went wrong, something's going to go wrong, and then Rover will go back and then, like, make it right. Or they're just looking for reasons to show this cutscene again from 2.0. Who knows?
This carnival is just the beginning.
End me, or I will end you! I'm here to save you!
Hey, just make Male Rover the canon one for the trailers. Just make Male Rover the canon one for the trailers. All right, can we just do that?
To save you!
I do think there's a reason why they're playing that voice line and then showing this scene. I think something's gonna happen, ladies and gentlemen. I think that something is probably going to happen with this character because it's pretty evident that Kuro Games has been teasing a lot. She had to go to the Black Shores. She has to go to Avanolon to resonate with the frequencies over there. The Thermodian still isn't dead, even though we keep thinking that we've dealt with it, but it just keeps coming back. It's again and again and again. Thermodian's back. There's always something going on. It's either a false sovereign, or it's Mia, or maybe it's Kartathea. Because I'm just going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. This voice line, to save you, that did not... I don't think that even showed up in the 2.2 quest. She never said this in the 2.2 quest. And so they went ahead and they took dialogue from other parts, from future versions of the game. Did she say this in 2.2? I'm pretty sure this was a line from like 2.5 or 2.6, right? Or maybe I don't recognize it because it's female Rover's VA. Maybe that's why. She did this in 2.2, or was this in a later quest? Well, this is also the thing. I also don't have female Rover as my main character, so I've actually never heard that before. Yeah, I've never heard that one before, so... Again, this issue was already resolved, right? I think they're playing this for a reason. Maybe we're gonna have to save her again.
Save you!
What are you two plotting in Renacita?
Combat makes the greatest warriors. Unsalvageable. Fractured into pieces. This is chaos. Then I will sever that fate with my blade.
Excuse me. Let's see what's new in here. That's definitely in the 2.6 part 2. That's from 2.6 part 1. The scene was actually so badass. You know what I'm actually really disappointed by? I would have loved to have seen this materialized in Augusta's kit. This reminds me of like a noble phantasm from Fate, where her sword literally houses the souls of like thousands of Septimont warriors, and then she just like honestly, why didn't they just make her liberation instead of her slashing? It's like the slashes of like 100 previous warriors coming from her sword or something like that. Like, imagine it's just like a bunch of these like dudes coming in and then like slashing during the animation. You got like 400 different warriors from Septimont all coming in to like gank your enemy. How would they animate it? It would have been like Judgment Cut, except the Judgment Cuts are people. That would have been pretty badass. All right, that's definitely a new scene over here. We have not seen this shit before. It looks like Avanolian's about to get fucked up again, boys. You thought that Avanolon couldn't get fucked up any further, but I know one thing for certain is that this region, it does not look the same as it did in 2.2. There's always something going on. It's like always getting more destroyed as time goes on, without a doubt. Like, I think it was destroyed at the start of 2.4. It started crumbling, and now it's crumbled. The sky is breaking, brother. Cartithia is cooked. Yeah, she's cooked. This is basically, this looks like the Dark Tide. That's not an old region. So you're telling me that this place that literally looks like Avanolon is not Avanolon. Let me just show you exactly where you would be. Oh, wait, that looks literally like what's in the fucking video. Nah, there ain't no way you're telling... There's no way you're telling me this is not it's the same photo. Anyone disagreeing is stupid. Sorry. We need to play this in let me find the appropriate playback speed for this one. So let's just start it right from here. Okay, so we're focusing on the new characters right now. We got Galbrada over here, naturally. We all know this scene. It was teased a long time ago. That was on 0.25, and it still felt like it was only half a second. That was literally on 0.25, and it still felt like half a second. What the fuck? I mean, let's just be real here. This guy has just been aura farming in pretty much every single trailer there's been for the game. That's all he's been doing. Straight up fucking aura farming. Bro either has like a close-up or something. You can't actually tell what's going on. But I'm gonna be real here. That's kind of badass. I didn't even know he had a hat. I didn't even know he had a fucking hat. And who knew this was actually a sword? Everyone thought it was a fishing pole.
That sound.
Well, that was a pretty hype way of preparing for the broadcast. I gotta say, I know a lot of people might be thinking that 2.7 might be like another sort of story patch. After seeing what went down in like 2.1 and 2.3, they might think it's like a filler patch. I think 2.7 is probably going to be too story relevant. I think that it's going to be like a climax. I think it's going to be a literal finale. Because you can literally see, embrace the finale. I don't think that 2.7 is going to end with a whimper. I'm pretty sure 2.8 is supposed to be like the cleanup for it. So, yeah, I'm just going to be real here, ladies and gentlemen. This might be one of the biggest patches, if not the biggest patch in the history of the game, because they have made this trailer just to announce the live stream. They've never done a trailer like this to announce a live stream before. All they've done in the past is just make a fucking Twitter post. That was the previous advertising that they did. Literal Twitter posts. But for this one, they make a video? Interesting. Then you take a look at the history over here, right? They had a separate goddamn trailer as well a whole month ago, hyping up the finale. And you all remember what happened in here, right? Bro was aura farming here as well. So they have two separate trailers. Two separate fucking trailers just for this version. They hyped up this one almost 2 versions ago. Yeah, so I'm just gonna be real, ladies and gentlemen. 2.7 is looking prepped to be an absolute banger. We are not missing this live stream, and we're not missing this patch. And I dare say, it looks like it might be one of the biggest ones, one of the best ones in the history of the game. The hype levels are through the roof. And hopefully, with some of the context, some of the theory crafting that we did over here, I know we stretched out a 1 minute 44 second or 1 minute 44 second video out for kind of long, but hopefully you all enjoyed the discussions that we had today. Let me know what you all thought. Peace.